Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Faisel Syed.
And I'm Dr. Dan McCarter.
And you're listening to Faisel and Friends, where we believe access to primary care is a right, not a privilege.
I'm Dr. Salomon, your co-host today. We're talking to Dr. Dike Drummond from thehappymd.com about the post-COVID reality check. Let's dive in right now.
Dr. Dike Drummond, welcome. It's good to have you back again.
Great to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
I'm here today with Dr. Say Salomon in person at our headquarters at the home office here in Miami, Florida.
It's great to be back. I'm here to fill very big shoes as Dr. Dan is enjoying some leisure time. It's great to be here.
Yes, Dr. Dan definitely needed the time off. Dr. Dan, we miss you. Can't wait to have you back. But Dr. Drummond, we left off our last episode talking about, the concern about, physicians what physicians will be dealing with post-pandemic when this COVID starts becoming endemic again. And you as a physician coach, you are actively involved with helping doctors as they're struggling already. Pre-pandemic, we were already dealing with so many issues with our fee-for-service healthcare system. And just this past week, someone sent me an article from Fierce Healthcare citing that the American Medical Association found that about $1 billion of waste is attributed just to PCP turnover. And here's the thing. They said that that a quarter of that is due to physician burnout. I think the number is actually much higher. But I'd love to get love to talk with you about what's going on right now in your world as a physician coach, and really how can we promote a culture of physician coaching?
Well, and what I'll say is I've been exclusively devoted to helping physicians recognize and prevent burnout, physicians and organizations recognize and prevent burnout since 2010. It's been 12 years. We've got 5 coaches in my organization that I've recruited, and we have a little coaching community. Thousands of hours of one-on-one coaching experience, both with regular practitioners and with folks that have leadership roles. And there's some fascinating behaviors that doctors do naturally and automatically. And there's some fascinating trends that the COVID pandemic has dramatically sped up. So one of the trends for us, when we decided to become light workers, to become helpers and healers and go to medical school in the first place, what we do is we run towards the noise, right? So in a crisis, we're on our best behavior in a crisis. And you can actually ask us to do almost anything in a crisis and we'll do it because we're wired that way. We can't not do it. And we actually rally to the cause when the chips are down. So as COVID was going wave after wave after wave, what you did was you saw doctors and nurses and everybody who's a light worker show up and do what needed to happen to get through the various waves. And in the wake of each one of those waves, what happens is your emotion, your energy drops, and you begin to realize who didn't make it through the wave with you, and just exactly what you lost, and just exactly how estranged you are from your family. So what you know when you study the human emotional response to disaster is the danger period for providers of healthcare, be they doctors, nurses, or anybody else on the care team who puts the patient first, is after the crisis is over, after the pressure is off, when you're left to yourself to pick up the pieces. And one of the big things that's happened in the United States and other places is the Great Resignation. So at the same time, we've been asked to do more than ever. You've had your support staff depopulated. And I just want to say, in the industrial medical model, if you're seeing the same amount of patients or more with less staff, you look really good in the spreadsheets. And so now that the pressure is off, you might think we're going to find my medical assistant again. I'm going to get staffed appropriately again. And I'm going to tell you, you got to fight for something like that. Here's what I think is going to happen. There's a window right now. It started about 6 weeks ago when the Omicron rate started to drop. They started to plummet. We're down 95% from a month ago. Pressure's off. Everybody's just holding their breath. Plus, they're distracted by the war in Ukraine, appropriately so. So what's going to happen is there's going to be a new normal in the wake of COVID, but it hasn't been established yet. And so there's a window now when everybody can, if you're clear on what your ideal job description is, you can begin to negotiate on behalf of your practice and your patients and your staff and your family with your employer to have a better job description in the wake of COVID. And that practice window will close between now and the end of the year. You didn't quote a couple of statistics, so let me just throw a couple more things out, right? So we've known for a decade that in 2030, we're going to be 120,000 doctors short in the United States of America. That number has been constant for a decade, and the projections are the same. Did you also know that 45% of American physicians are 55 or over?
Yeah.
Did you also know that's 419,000 doctors? Here's what I think is going to happen. And I've been predicting this for 6 months because it's just so obvious to me, because I sit in a place where burned out doctors come to me and talk to me all the time. Physician leaders come and talk to me all the time because of the pain they see in their workforce, right? I think there were a lot of boomer doctors who are over 55 who have stuck around because of COVID, right? They came to the clarion call to do what they had, but they don't have to practice the medicine anymore. They're made, right? And now that the pressure's off, I think we're going to see a massive resignation of the hardest working doctors in the workforce, the boomer docs. And then check out what happened 2 weeks ago. Amazon, right? Rolled out their Alexa delivery of primary care, and they're charging $75 for a call. Okay, hang on a second. Amazon can't roll out a nationwide service like that without several thousand doctors saying, yeah, you can pay me $25 a call. So there's some slice of the American physician population who says, yeah, sitting in my skivvies at home on Alexa, like a little pop-out hologram on the top of the little cylinder that is Alexa on your countertop, taking $25 a call for something like that. Yeah, that's what I always dreamed of when I went to medical school. So there's a dumbing down of what it means to be a doctor and what you get paid, right? There's a mass retirement of the boomer docs, perhaps the greatest generation. I don't mean to be prejudicial, but it was before work hour restrictions, and typically we're wired differently. All of that is now in play. And the challenge becomes, in an era of worker shortage, in an era of doctor shortage, recruitment, retention, your ability to find a different job if you don't like the one you're in becomes greater and greater and greater if you know what you're looking for.
Yeah, and even doctors and nurses, nurse practitioners, they've never been laid off the way that they were laid off during the pandemic. People in healthcare who always felt very confident with their salaries and their wages being protected, having the slashing of the wages, the security of the job also isn't there anymore either, on top of it all. So now that we are here where we are in this window, we've got this war going on.
Flexibility, right?
It is a window of this flexibility, but we've got this war. We have now $100 to fill the tank of gas. I put $100 to fill my gas tank yesterday.
I can relate.
You driving a tank?
20 gallons, 20 gallons, $5, so we've got that going on. And then we have, like you said, the concern. That's right. When you think about doctors and nurses, if our system, like this whole catastrophe of a system, whenever there's a catastrophe by definition is a hopeless situation. The people who run into those hopeless situations, they offer, even when we go, patient is coding and you're looking at each other like, I don't know what, I don't know what we're doing over here. But the fact that we're cool, calm, collected in that catastrophic situation, we give hope to a hopeless situation. And for many people, our healthcare delivery system is a hopeless situation. And doctors and nurses, in like the greatest challenge of our lifetimes, rising to that challenge gave hope. We definitely gave a lot of hope. So you're right. This is a time where we got to watch for several different reasons. We have to look out for the doctors and nurses. So in our world, in a relationship-based healthcare delivery model, there's a lot of bi-directional feedback, a lot of training, a lot of coaching for the doctors and for the care teams, how to lead a care team, how to motivate a patient, how to connect with the patient and inspire them to maybe make some healthier lifestyle choices. But outside of our world, in the transactional model, or the way, how do you call it?
The gerbil wheel?
The gerbil wheel. No, there was some kind of complex.
Industrial medicine, yeah.
Yeah, in industrial medicine, where there's a dollar amount, there's a CPT, there's a billing code tied to every interaction, every phone call. You got every touch, there's a dollar code tied to that. How can we promote a culture of coaching? If we can start with the doctors first, the doctor-patient relationship is a sacred relationship. And we can put in the doctors and the nurses who are intimately connected with the patients. Like, how can we promote a culture of coaching that does so much, that can address so many of the issues that we're concerned about in healthcare delivery today? It can help with development. It can obviously help with burnout. It can help with retention. How can we promote a culture in this model where it's like, okay, if we do this, it's going to take away from them generating more RVUs?